find your flow, follow the map. Mile high dreaming's got your back. Denver skies.
Thanks, everyone. I know we're small but mighty, but we're going to do this. So, I'm Cara. I'm a senior engagement manager at Zirconte. We are a ISV partner with Salesforce. 9 times Salesforce certified, a marketing champion. If you want to connect with me, let me know after. It's much easier with our little codes. Very handy. So before I get started, I want to tell you why accessibility is so important to me and why it means so much. So my journey started in the NICU when I was born prematurely and with a rare condition called tracheoesophageal fistula with atresia. Essentially, I had no esophagus. So my stomach was wide open. I had like 2 centimeters of esophagus that was attached to my trachea. So everything I was swallowing was going straight to my lungs. And my stomach was just wide open. So all of those gastric juices and everything were emptying out into my abdomen at birth. 2 months later, I went home with my biological family, and I have shaken baby syndrome, which led to a TBI, paralyzed vocal cords, a retinal hemorrhage, severe learning disabilities, cognitive disabilities, seizures, aphasia, blindness, all of that because someone didn't want me. I was removed from that home, just for clarification, and I was adopted. But from that, I had a very long medical journey, which led to PTSD and anxiety that I still struggle with today. Professionally, I've been in the marketing and sales industry for over 15 years, 11 years in the Salesforce ecosystem, working on multi-cloud implementations is my most recent work. Salesforce marketing champion, 9 times Salesforce certified. I'm all these things, right? I have all these issues, and I am also very successful in my career. And that's why I like to talk about this topic, is even if you don't have a disability or a setback, often people see negative attributes about you, or you see them about yourself. And what I want to talk about today is how to overcome that and use your strengths to gain your confidence and become a better community member, a better professional. Yeah. On top of all that, I'm also a wife, a mom, and a professional. So these are all a bunch of labels. Really, that's what it comes down to. But in this society, we all operate through labels. We are labeled for the work we do. We are labeled for the way we look. We are labeled for our genders. And I hate labels. So today we're going to talk about how because you're labeled something doesn't mean you can't be more or do more or be different. Because ultimately we're all human. So at the end of the day, we all have our own truths, our own personalities, and we're all unique. So why does accessibility matter? It benefits everyone. Things that I'm going to talk about today benefit not just me as someone with a disability, it benefits the person next to me who has no disability. It's just common societal standards at the end of the day. Inclusive environments unlock talent. Prejudgment of a disability, of a gender, of anything really, really blocks talent pools. Companies are hurting because they're not open-minded. And it propels innovation. Without someone raising their hand and saying, I can't do it that way, a lot of innovation doesn't move forward. Innovation often stems from societal standards or common practices, but true innovation lies in meeting the unique needs of each person. So a disability is a physical or mental impairment that limits major life activities. These can be visible or invisible. Most people who look at me probably don't know right off the bat that I have a whole slew of things that I struggle with on a day-to-day basis. And 1 in 4 US adults live with a disability. That is 25% of our population struggle with some form of disability. %22 of people with disabilities were employed in 2024. That means 65% were not hired. The numbers don't add up, I know, but it's what they gave me. Unemployment rate for disabled is 7.5%. compared to the average public, which is currently 3.8%. There is a 5 to 6 percentage point gap in people with disabilities being put in managerial positions. Having a disability or even not a disability often can lead to imposter syndrome, which is essentially persistent self-doubt, and it leads to even less confidence. You have a fear of being found out, that you're not as good as you think you are. And honestly, this is experienced by 70% of working professionals at some point in their career. There's the onlyness effect here that's happening. So it's only me against the world. It's only me that's being targeted. It's only me that's being ignored. Biases and microaggressions pop up, whether aware or unaware. And that you put extra pressure on yourself to prove yourself, which just really puts more stress and makes imposter syndrome that much worse, really. Accessibility barriers can mask capabilities. So imagine living with imposter syndrome. You feel targeted already, whether that is true or not true. It's how you feel, it's how you're interpreting the world. And then someone turns you down. And they won't say why, they never really do. But you get this idea in your head of why they did it, and then that grows. And that's what I would like to help contradict. So I researched a lot on the confidence equation. And what it comes down to is that preparation, plus having the right tools in your kit, plus a great community surrounding you, is the best way to build confidence for yourself. It takes a little work by you, a little work from support, and a lot of just learning to accept no as an answer and keep pushing anyway. So when we're talking about preparation, preparation reduces uncertainty, which research shows is a primary driver for performance anxiety. Knowing your audience, who they are, what they value, their expectations, this allows you to adapt your delivery for maximum impact. Mastering your material, the more familiar you are with your content, the less cognitive load is spent on recall, freeing up mental space to engage with your audience and build those connections. Anticipate challenges. This could be technical hiccups, difficult questions, time crunches. Have backup plans in place. For me, my biggest thing is the questions afterward, and that doesn't mean don't ask me questions. What I mean is that's the biggest holdup for me. So as someone who struggles with aphasia, what that means is that my brain can't always get the words out. So sometimes I'm stuck wanting to say the response and I can't always communicate it, especially when I'm nervous, right? And who isn't nervous? Because I am. And so that doesn't mean don't ask me questions. But that's the one thing that I prepare for. So I have like a bulleted list here of possible notes and recommendations that I can reference. Rehearse with feedback. So studies on skill acquisition show that deliberate practice with feedback is far more effective than just repeating stuff by yourself. So what I usually do is I have a colleague who I run through my decks with them 2-3 times. And she gives honest and open feedback every single time. And we make adjustments, and then she also listens back. So if I record my sessions or she's able to join one of my sessions, she also reverts back and gives me honest feedback. Constructive, honest feedback. All right. For your tools. Tools help you amplify your strengths. So there's accessibility tech out there. For myself, having relative blindness, yes, I'm wearing glasses. I am 100% blind in my right eye and 40% blind in my left eye. And so I often use screen readers and magnifiers to help me read or work in a day-to-day basis. There's a lot of other accessibility tech out there for deaf or hard of hearing, captions. For those who have physical disabilities, we have ramps and accessibility for them. There's just ways out there for support. AI is popular, yes, but there is AI support as well. Recent research from Microsoft shows 91% of employees with disability found tools like Copilot valuable for productivity and inclusion. AI doesn't know what you are or what you struggle with, and it can just kind of help amplify you. I often use AI to help me verify facts or just check what I'm talking about, reference points, etc. And then adaptive workflows and presentation aids. So this could be presentation clickers, timers, dual screens, anything that helps reduce your cognitive load. A good one for this is, not to put you on the spot, but I got in and it was, do you want the headset to speak or the microphone? And for me, having that headset on, I would only be focused on, is it too close to my mouth? Is it pushing pressure on my head? And so I always opt for the microphone. But even having that option is quite amazing because a lot of places don't. All right, then our community. Community is ultimately your support network, and I'm going to talk about 4 different parts of the community. Starting out, you have your mentors. Mentors help you navigate challenges and learn from their experience. Mentors are often one-on-one partnerships, someone that you have built a lot of trust with. It can be a friend, a colleague, a boss. Mentors are really focused on you and helping you, whether they know it or not. Then you have your allies. Allies use their influence to ensure you're heard and supported. So these can be complete strangers. These can be people that you do know, like my colleague who helps me with my presentations. Their goal is to speak up for you even when you're not in the room. They're on your team. You have sponsors. Sponsors actively advocate for your advancement. Research from the Center for Talent Innovation shows sponsorship increases promotion rates for underrepresented professionals. So I had the opportunity to present at Witness Success last week with our keynote this afternoon, Gilda Hilaire. And she shared a story that she gave me permission to share here too, where her colleague kept getting passed over for a promotion. And she was mad. After the third time she got passed for a promotion that she was clearly skilled for, qualified for, ready for, Gilda took action. She went to their shared manager and voiced her concerns, and that to me was perfect sponsorship. She was speaking on behalf of her teammate for something that she felt she deserved. Finally, there's peers. So peers provide day-to-day encouragement and normalize challenges for you. These are going to be your friends, your coworkers, the people that you interact with day in and day out to help you through those small challenges that ultimately lead to big challenges. Harvard Business Review came out with a study in 2025, January this year, that showed that people with strong networks, so people from all of these groups, were 2 more times likely to be promoted. In 2021, the Trailblazer community sent out a report that showed that professionals who engaged in their community and were active members reported higher confidence in adopting new skills, career mobility, and gained lasting friendships. So bringing it all together, with the right preparation, the right tools, and a secure community, confidence can be built. You don't have to tackle all 3 at once. Starting with one and building from there is usually how this works. So a little bit about how I got here. Pre-2020, I was working for an HR firm. That's how I got into Salesforce. And then in 2019, I decided to do some self-consulting. So I went out on my own as an independent consultant looking for a change. And in that time, I was a quiet contributor, kept my head down, did the work, wouldn't speak up for myself, but it didn't open any doors. Then the pandemic happened, and it occurred to me that no one else was going to grow my career. That was something I had to do. So I took that moment, very scary, very liberating, and decided to start saying yes to opportunities that I didn't think I was going to be able to do. Saying yes to a colleague who said, hey, I have this client, I can't support them, can you take them in with your consultancy? And I was like, oh, I don't know, that's Sales Cloud. I don't have a lot of experience in Sales Cloud. At that point, I was Marketing Cloud engagement, and Marketing Cloud account engagement was kind of like my hub. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. From there, I started taking additional chances, took on challenging clients, wrote my first public blog, did my first open discussion talk, and started out doing some outreach to ecosystem leaders and building some friendships outside of my little silo. In 2021, I joined Sercante, and from there, I really picked up the momentum, speaking at events, blogging for Sercante, blogging for myself, mentoring others. I became a marketing champion in 2023. And today, speaking, blogging, mentoring are now part of my norm. And really, the best part is that I get to bring others along for the ride and share not only my story, but advice and gain insights from those around me. This is not a journey with an endpoint. I'm still taking risks, stepping into rooms that feel a little too big for me, and betting on myself. But this is all stemming from building that sense of confidence that I was most definitely lacking. All right. So, what I would love for people to do, I would love you to prepare with intention. Pick one thing that is coming up, a client meeting, a team presentation, a status update to your team. Give it more focused preparation than you usually do. That extra effort will help you walk in with more certainty and confidence. Add one new tool to your toolbox. Maybe it's using live captions in Zoom, leveraging AI to help you brainstorm, adopting a new project management shortcut, a new idea or workflow that you've been pondering on. The right tools free up mental energy so you can focus on making an impact. And I always tell myself to work smarter, not harder, so do the same. Grow your community. I would love for each of you to message someone you respect in the Salesforce ecosystem or your industry or even at work. Introduce yourself, ask them about their work. Relationships open doors and you never know where that relationship is going to come from or how it's going to begin. Go make connections, that's what I'm saying. Write down one success. So these aren't one-time actions, they're habits that have to be built over time. And over time, they become the foundation you stand on when opportunities present themselves. So I challenge each of you to write down one success. It can be big, it can be small, to revisit when doubt creeps in, to keep your confidence strong and going. Thank you. And now I will take questions, but I feel like I rushed maybe a little bit. But really, I just appreciate you coming and listening. So, are there any questions? Yes.
I have a hearing disability and I wear hearing aids. And I'm very open about it. And people know that I do that around me, so it helps me facilitate. But I know not a lot of people can be as open as I am about it.
Yep.
And I'm just wondering, for that person with disabilities or that person working closely with them, how could you have a meaningful conversation about protecting that person's privacy? But just kind of opening that conversation, I guess, is my question.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I love that question because I get it asked all the time. I think you don't want to step on toes, right? Like that is the biggest thing, and I think people are so fearful of stepping on toes or hurting feelings that they don't have the courage to ask or initiate a conversation. Like I literally walk around, I'm not blind, I have a huge scar on my neck, and the amount of times that people just stare at me makes me much more uncomfortable than those very few people who are like, hey, what happened? And I know that everyone is different. Not everyone's going to react that way. But let's start with an easy conversation. Hi, my name is Cara. I just wanted to meet you and get to know you a little bit better. I'm interested in growing my network. And from there, they will divulge whether they are comfortable or not. Yeah.
I think sometimes I get scared that like my kind of invisible struggles are like an excuse of why I'm not like I feel not as good as everyone else. Like if I'm struggling for something, it's really hard to like don't really know how to handle that. I was like, I know it's not an excuse, but it's like, well, I could do better.
I hear you, and that's what I struggle with every single day. What I remind myself of is these are labels. These are things that I struggle with. I acknowledge them. They're not going to go away. I acknowledge them. I accept them as part of who I am. And I remind myself that this is who I am. This is part of who I am. It does not define who I am. And I kind of have that mantra going. And it's really about reassuring myself, because I can promise you that people outside looking in are not like, oh, she's really horrible. I don't like her. She's not good at this. They're not thinking that. So it's really about building your own self mantra and what works for you, which is hard. Yeah.
Imposter syndrome, like.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
Like, what tools do you use? Like, I try to sense it in my body and understand where that's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't even see it.
Yes.
But when I do feel it, I struggle to kind of, how do I take that moment? Just want to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
do you have any resources and tools you use when you're feeling that?
My community. So specifically my mentor and my peers, I just have to talk it out. I really do. I have to be like, okay, this is what happened. This was my interpretation of what happened. This is what's coming down. I don't think I can handle this. And they help me build myself back up, because telling my mantra isn't always going to be enough. The other thing with imposter syndrome is I like to flip it on its head. So I can't do this, or I'm not sure I can do this. I'm not good at this. People are questioning me. And I flip that and be like, are they questioning me, or am I questioning myself? Maybe I need a change. Maybe this is too stagnant. Maybe this is a sign telling me that something needs to change, or I need to do something different. So those are the two approaches I take. I kind of flip it, and if that doesn't work, I reach out and talk through it.
The thing I think about is everyone has imposter syndrome, and it's not just.
Yeah, even if you say you don't, you do.
Those are the people with the biggest, I feel like. I did a LinkedIn poll and I said, do you have imposter syndrome? And there was people crazy enough to say no. Like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
The first step is denial, and then we move on to acceptance. Any other questions? Yeah.
Question. How do you deal with people who know are labeling you mean, and you feel a need to like overcompensate or try to find ways to change their perception of you?
Yeah. So pre 2023, that was probably my biggest struggle. And then something happened. I went to Witness Success for the first time. I had my very first speaking opportunity. And in there, people were like, oh, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. And like I said, I have paralyzed vocal cords. So I can't project. I can't be louder. And it just automatically put me in this headspace of like, they're judging me. I'm not good at this. I can't do this. And so what I did was I just simply explained. And it wasn't an intentional way to make them feel bad. It was simply like, okay, let me see if I need a new microphone, because I physically can't project. I literally can't. And so, and I explained why. And after that discussion, I then went out with a group of people from that talk, and they were just so curious to learn about me and how I overcome, and it built that confidence again with me. But what I remind myself of is not everybody's gonna like everybody, period. We all have different personalities, and some people can't handle a disability or the effect that a disability has on one's personality. And so I'm not saying I'm great at it, I'm saying that it's a work in progress, that I have to remind myself we're not all going to be friends. We're not all going to get along. But I'm also now not afraid to call someone out on it. Anything else? Cool. Thank you for coming. I hope it offered you some type of value. Oh, those are my kids. But thank you. Appreciate it.
Your flow,